I wanted to start today with just a little bit of listening without me saying anything. I wanted to start today with just a little bit of listening without me saying anything. I'm going to explain what this is in a minute, but I want you to experience this very often as educated musicians, as jazz musicians who are clearly interested in theory and academic ideas. Very often we unknowingly listen through a brain filter rather than just purely through the ear. Ask yourself, what does this feel like to you? Not like what chord do you think I'm playing. I'll tell you what chord I'm playing in a second. But does it feel stable? Does it feel like I'm doing something out? Does it feel weird? Does it feel, consonant, dissonant, happy, sad? What does it come across as when you're hearing this? Melodically, what I was just doing is the quadratonic that we've been talking about and working on all week. Okay, it was a major triad tension 4. So the individual single note lines that I was playing should have sounded very diatonic. I'm going to play it one more time and then I'll tell you what it was. Listen to the purity of the lines themselves, like how simple they come across and accepted by the ear. And then also pay attention to how they relate to the harmony that they're playing over. Do they sound like they're connected to it? Do they create what kind of emotion does it bring up when you hear it? I was playing G major tension 4. Okay, if you're brand new to melodic triads, that's a G major triad with a C note added, but it's not about running it as a digital pattern. It's about creating tension resolution. So we have our G major triad and then we have our C note. This gives us stability and sort of anchor points that connect us with harmony. And this little guy over here, this C note, is a melodic tension note that's entire function in life is to cause problems and emotion and drama that help propel melodic movement. So I was improvising with the sound of a G major triad, but I was playing over an A flat major 7 chord. Okay? So I'm putting a G major triad over an A flat major 7 chord. So effectively what I'm doing is I'm building a major triad on top of the major 7 of this A flat chord, right? The major 7 of A flat is G. So I'm just taking that note that's a half step below the root note, and I'm turning that into a major triad. The G triad is made of G, B, and D. There's G, that's the major 7. There's the B note, that's a sharp 9. And the D note, the 5th of the G major triad, is the sharp 11. So I call this sound A flat major 7, sharp 11, sharp 9. I can't tell you how you should have experienced it or read your mind and know how you did experience it. Feel free to leave comments down below and let me know how it sounded to you. But to my ear, it's very stable and kind of in. I mean, it's a very colorful, deep sound, but it doesn't sound atonal to me at all. Okay, I can land on this low G note 3rd fret, and it feels complete. Even though the chord I'm playing tells us that it should be this 4th fret A flat note that's the most in. There's our Dracula note. Was it last week that we did tension flat 2? This is polytonal, right? There's 2 different structures at work, and they're very different structures. The best way to understand it is from the perspective of thinking about a piano player playing an A flat major 7 in their left hand and either a G major triad in their right hand, or some kind of arpeggio where we're moving through that triad. In this case, we're turning it into a quadratonic to create some melodic movement. We're adding a 4th note that's a tension note. Okay. The tension note that we're adding, C, in relationship to the A flat major chord, is the major 3rd. Right, that sus4 sound that wants to pull down, that tension 4. That's a C note, that's the major 3rd of A flat, but it's a melodic tension note that wants to pull down to the sharp 9. So the sharp 9 is a stronger chord tone here than the major 3rd. Okay. And the major 7 of the chord is a stronger chord tone than the root note. If I go up from G up to A flat, the A flat's going to want to pull back down to G, even though I'm playing over an A flat major 7 chord. So the root note is weaker than the major 7, and the 3rd is weaker than the sharp 9. A good way that you can try and start to get used to this sound, and then maybe we'll apply it, and maybe I'll play over like a 2-5-1 or something so you can hear what this sounds like when we actually put it inside of a movement. A good way to start working on this, because this is a tough one to hear, but once you do hear it and it clicks, it's kind of impossible not to hear it, is to jump back to what we worked on. Let's see, today is lesson number 30, so this Monday was lesson number 26. And we did this resolution run warm-up where we played G major tension 4, but we didn't purely ascend all the way up. We did the resolution run ascending idea where instead of jumping right from the root to the 3rd, we jumped up to the 4 and resolved back down to the 3, and then we moved up to the 4, resolved back down to the 3. Okay, because the 4 by nature, it wants to resolve down to the 3rd. Right? Root 4, 3, 5, root 4, 3, 5, ascending, we don't have to worry about it because the 4 is already resolving down to the 3rd when we descend. Okay. Practice that, but have either a looping pedal or a sustain pedal, or if you have a piano with a sustain pedal, do it against the sound of this chord. A flat major 7. If you're in the Melodic Triad study group, the official study group, and you've looked through the tonality vault, this is one of there's 16 different polytonal chords we look at. Not all of them are this intensely modern and sort of out. Like, it's very in, but it is a pretty unexpected sound. Not all of them are this aggressive, but all the information that we go through in there, from the primary quadratonic, which is here, to the pentatonic, to the 6-note bebop scale, to our 3-note quadratonic voicings, to our diads, to our liquid harmony, like all of those ideas that we go through and all of the concepts that we delve into with it are all built on this basic sound of a G major triad over A flat major 7. And this is the quality of it. This is what it should be sounding like. So we could apply like our 3-note voicing, quadratonic voicings to this. Is that right? No, that's off. What is this one? There it is. Yeah, that's what it was. That's what I thought. I did play right the first time. Let me check out this voicing. This comes out of our 3-note quadratonic voicings, but I'm going to add the A flat underneath it because we're using it as an A flat chord now. So this is from the bottom up. This is 4th fret, 3rd fret, open, 4th fret, 4, 3, open, 4, A flat, C, D, B, root major 3rd, sharp 11, sharp 9. So we could use this for a dominant chord also, A flat dominant, because there's no major 7 here. But that is a voicing right there. I could listen to that all day. Right? 2, 5, 1. If you want to think of it in such simplistic terms here. Major 7, sharp 11, sharp 9. I'm resolving. I moved to the 4 chord, to D flat major. E flat, A flat 7, D flat major 7. There's a sharp 9 up on top. There's the sharp 11. Okay, so if I'm thinking about a D flat major 7, if I'm playing a D flat major 7, what's the major 7 of D flat? C, right? C is a half step below D flat. So I'm thinking about a C major triad here, tension 4. Right? Here's, again, if you've been through our tonality vault, you'll recognize this. This is our fully extended, one of our fully extended inversions. I'm playing the D flat, shell voicing, D flat major 7, root 3rd major 7, and then up above it, I'm playing a C major triad. This is the guitar version of a piano player playing a D flat major 7 chord down here and a C major triad up here. I'm just turning it on its side and putting it so that the shell voicing is in the lower part of the guitar and the major triad D flat major 7 shell down here, C major triad up here. Right, and we can just move through these inversions, keeping the shell voicing down on the bottom and the major triad up on the top. This one's a little bit tough, but possible. Let's come back to the starting key though. Let's not venture. I was trying to go into some jazz standard, like common movement of modulating into the 4 chord. So we started in A flat and I was modulating into D flat because it's just where my brain took me. But let's stick with A flat major. So here's B flat minor 2 5 1. Okay, that's the melody that I'm hearing now. 2 5 1. Very unexpected sound, but works perfectly fine in my ear. Let's put this into a tune or two. We can use this. This is a sharp 11 chord, so it works really well when we go to the 4 of a major key, because the 4 of a major key when we're playing standards naturally has a sharp 11 in it, which this chord has a sharp 11. So it works really well when we go to the 4 chord, which happens in a lot of standards. It can be used over the 1, the tonic, but it's a little bit more out when we use it over the 1, because not only are we putting the sharp 9 in it, we're also forcing the sharp 11 into it, which it technically doesn't really belong over the 1 chord. It can work, but it's a little bit more aggressive, diatonically speaking. When we put it over the 4 chord, there's only one note that sounds funky, and that's the sharp 9. So let's see, what are some cool tunes that go to the 4 chord? How about Stella? The changes in Stella. Right, that E flat major 7, that's the 4 chord. This tune is in the key of B flat. F minor, B flat 7. Here's the secondary dominant to the 4 chord. When I go to it, I'm not going to go to a straight E flat major 7. I'm going to go to E flat major 7, sharp 11, sharp 9. Brain is going to think D major triad, but I know that the chord is E flat. That's why I knew that I could resolve to this note, that line. Because that's a D major triad. And I put root and major 3rd underneath it. If some of this is going over your head, Friday is our Advanced Melodic Triads Concepts Day, so totally fine. Just breathe through it and be okay with it going over your head. Just keep working on your fundamentals and keep working towards trying to understand this stuff and asking me questions. Leave questions in the comments below and let me know what you're struggling with, and I can try and help. Obviously, if you're not in the Melodic Triads study group and if you want to join, you'll have access to hours of video footage, tons of PDF material, examples, voicings written out. But I'm going to do my best to try and break down what I'm thinking about here in this video. So again, from the top of the form. minor major 7 here, which I am, if you only analyze it on the surface. I'm playing E flat, root, G flat, or F sharp, so you could think of that as the minor third and then the major 7 up here, D. But really what I'm thinking about is a miniature version of this polytonal concept. In this key, it would be D major, triad, piano player right hand, over E flat major 7. So I'm just doing 2 notes from the triad and 1 note from the left hand, E flat major 7. I'm playing the E flat root note and 2 notes from D major. So this is F sharp and D. That's the third and the root of D major triad. And I'm putting it over the root note of E flat. So you could imagine the 2 hands of the piano player. I'm not playing the big full version of it, but I'm implying the full version by playing 1 note from the quote-unquote left hand, which happens to be the root note, and 2 notes from the quote-unquote right hand, the D major triad. So I can get away with playing what appears on the surface to be a minor major, E flat minor major 7, where there's supposed to be an E flat major chord. Right? That's what happens in the changes in Stella. So I'm not going to keep playing through the form. Let me check in to make sure no one's brain is melting down, no aneurysms are happening in the comments. Paul, what's up? Gary, good to see you, man. Daniel, hey, Miles, welcome to the Outer Limits. Yeah. Wrapping up here, I guess. I could go on all day about this chord. I love this chord, and of all the polytonal harmonies, sort of harmonic / melodic structures that we've studied together in the Melodic Triad study group, of all of those, I think this one has probably received the most pushback from members in terms of like, what the hell is going on here? Like, I can't hear this one. I don't understand how it works. I can't get it to sound right when I do it. A lot of the other ones are kind of more old school and have a more obvious vibe to them. Like, once you hear it, it's so clear. This one seems to be the most difficult from what I've heard back, feedback from members. But I can't encourage you enough to try it if you're into like modern jazz. And it's really not out. Like, when it's done well, it feels perfectly acceptable to my ear. It certainly doesn't feel old school or traditional. Like, I wouldn't play this if I was like gigging with a swing band or even old school kind of traditional bebop. But for anything beyond, 50s, I think it works beautifully. Obviously, that's a very subjective opinion. If it's not your cup of tea, then I wouldn't worry about it. But if you like the sound of it, I would definitely work at developing your ear around it. It's as simple as a major triad with tension 4, which is what we've been working on for the majority of this week. Okay. You know you're hearing it right if when you play it against a chord, either with a sustain pedal, a looping pedal. If you don't have any of those tools, you can also you put this in the key of E, use your open 6th string, and what's a major 7? If you're thinking E major 7, what's the major 7 of E? D sharp. So you can play a D sharp major triad with tension 4 over the open 6th string. You can still MacGyver this and make it work. note, the Dracula note, that's an E note. Wanting to come back down to D sharp against the E major 7 chord that I'm implying by doing this over an open E string. So just spend a lot of time with it. Try and putting it into a 2-5-1. Look for tunes that modulate from major tunes that modulate from the tonic to the 4 chord. Stella has that. Autumn Leaves. I'm always talking about Autumn Leaves. Right? It goes 2-5-1 and then it goes up to the 4 chord. Right? A minor. D7. G major, C major. C major is the 4 chord. See if you can get it happening over the C major chord. This tune might actually be kind of tough to deal with because it's such a it's branded in our minds so deeply, this very like old school traditional way of playing Autumn Leaves, but it doesn't have to be. If you can only hear it as this very kind of like cheeseball, tired, overplayed tune, then you're gonna have a really hard time getting your ear to accept this new sound inside of it, because this sound is not a tired, old, overused sound. It's a very new, fresh, modern approach to playing over a major chord. In fact, I wonder if we could do it over G and C. Actually, but you have to play with it. Again, if this is way out of your comfort zone, it's Advanced Melodic Triad Concepts Day. That's what Fridays are all about for us. So go slow with it. Hit me with questions if you got them. Gary, happy to hear it. Me too. Sean, very much so. Hit me with questions if you got them. Leave them in the comments. If you're not in the study group and you like these kinds of sounds and you like, not necessarily that it's easy to make it happen, but you like the simplicity of just using the fundamentals to create it. Just thinking basic A flat major 7 shell, and then just a basic G major triad on top of that. Right, those are our 2 ingredients. I'm always cooking up 2 ingredient meals. It's just pasta and some kind of sauce. In this case, A flat major 7, G major triad, and then we can expand it outwards to all kinds of insane things. But if you like this stuff and you're not part of the study group, you might want to check out what we're up to, because we have not only the courses that will help baby step you through the process of mastering your triads, learning how to voice lead with them, learning how to add notes to hear the emotion of these melodic triad tension notes, these melodic tension notes. That's nice. This is one of our 3-note quadratonic voicings that you would find in the tonality vault, and then I'm just putting the A flat root note into it. Right, this is G major tension 4, and I'm putting the A flat note under it. So if you're not in the study group and you're into this kind of way of thinking and the sounds that are accessible through it, you should come check us out, see what we're up to. diads for it, right? No, that's not right. Man, that is nice. This is super obvious. Root third 7. Root sharp 9, sharp 11. And then I'm putting both of these dyads over the A flat note to fill out the sound. If I was playing in a trio and I had a bass player behind me, I wouldn't need to do that. It might sound cool to add it anyways, but I just wanted to explore this tonality a little bit with you guys today during this lesson because it's one of my favorites to play around with, and it also appears to be one of the more challenging ones for new members of our study group to hear. So I just think it's worth the more time we spend listening to something. We want to understand it up here, but if it doesn't make sense to the ear, then it's useless, which is why I wanted to start off today just playing and letting you experience it, the tension note wanting to resolve down without me needing to explain to you how backwards it is intellectually. Because what you're hearing is the root and the third of the chord wanting to pull down to the major 7 and the sharp 9. Like that should just be weird. It should be weird to the brain, which is why sometimes it's good to listen and not worry about the theory of what we're doing. Just hear it. Because if the ear doesn't hear it first, then the brain can jump in and say, no, this doesn't make sense. That's not right. It shouldn't be like this. That's not what my teacher told me. That's not what the book said. Frankly, if the book and the teacher are telling you something that the ear hears otherwise, always trust the ear. Okay. We're going to leave it at that today. Gary, Daniel, thanks guys. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys on Monday, and enjoy this one. The PDF is just the basic quadratonic, so if you need that, you can download it. Miles, that's definitely true. And as always, happy practicing. Hey YouTube, it's Jordan Clemens with NYC Jazz Guitar Master Classes and the Melodic Triads Study Group. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I have a ton of content coming out on YouTube this year. We've been doing daily jazz guitar lessons, so I'm going to be posting videos like this pretty much every day. So if you dug this and you want to follow me, subscribe and make sure that you turn on notifications so that you can watch more videos like this. Thanks again for watching. Hope to see you in the comment section. Hope to see you in the next video.